What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're in the garage and we have another mod to install to the inside of my F80. So as you guys know, we installed the Recaro pole position leather with the houndstooth of the Pepita inserts, along with the Schroth Racing 6-point harnesses. We mounted those on the PCI floor mounts. These are sliding floor mounts. And we did the driver's side, and we did the passenger side seat. And this was sort of just some track prep. Driving with bucket seats really holds you into the car better. Make sure you don't move around. Having the harnesses is also a safety point when we're on track. So having all of this makes it a little bit safer and a little bit better while driving on track, as well as, you know, adding some benefit of looking pretty cool, looking good on the interior of the car, and just kind of doing something a little bit different that you don't see too often. But like I mentioned, we have a new part to install, and it's actually going to be added to one of these seats. So let's go ahead and get the seat out, and I will show you what we're talking about. So like I mentioned, this is the Recaro pole position. This is the ABE leather with Pepita or houndstooth inserts, and we are mounted to the PCI floor mounts. This is a one-piece system. Well, it's actually three-piece systems, but you buy it all as one kit. So it's the PCI seat mounts, the slider, and the floor mount. And then we have the harnesses. In case some of you guys didn't notice, there was a mod that I had on the stock seats that I wasn't able to transfer over to these Recaros. And you know, it was something that I felt was kind of missing, or something that I needed to add back to the car. So I went ahead and found out a way to make it work. So for those of you that don't know, the stock F80s and many stock BMWs and Porsches in general have an option to fit the car with an OEM fire extinguisher. So that option, depending on the car, kind of changes the placement. Usually it's underneath the driver or passenger seat, and it mounts up using a stock kit, stock mounting kit. So it's OEM part numbers, and it just kind of tucks away underneath the front of the seat and lets you, have some added safety to the car, and still in an OEM solution with perfect fitment and a little bit hidden, kind of subtle detail is a cool addition to the car. When I added the Recaros, unfortunately, there is no way to transfer over the stock bracket used on the OEM F80 seats, so we lost the ability to run that fire extinguisher. Now, there is an option to run a kit that fits for the Recaro pole positions, and it's actually a Mercedes-based part. So it comes from the Recaro pole positions that come in an AMG GT. I think it comes in the black series of that car. So basically what it is, it's a kit that will bolt up to the bottom of the seat bracket underneath here, and it just drills directly into the bottom of the seat. And that's where we kind of run into the main issue, is that in order to install it, you need to drill holes and mount it to the bottom of the seat. And that's not really something I was looking to do. I don't really feel like drilling into, my very expensive seats, and kind of making a long-term solution for something that, down the line, these seats may not be in my hands anymore, or I may switch to a new setup if I find something else I like. But that really wasn't an option. I didn't really want to drill into these seats, so I kind of needed to figure something else out. So luckily, I'm good friends with the guys over at OEM Extinguishers. So they are the ones that source all of the parts and provide all the parts to run the OEM kits in your cars. You can check them out, check out their website. I'll leave a link down below. They're the ones that sold me the kit for the original seats, and they're the ones that give all the options for paint matching, all your different cars, all your different solutions, and they make it seamless to install them to your OEM seats in any of your BMW, Porsche, Lamborghini, McLaren, all these other different options. They have the perfect solution to mount the fire extinguishers using OEM parts, and they even offer the ability to paint match. So I got to talking with him, and we worked up a custom solution to be able to fit the extinguisher onto this pole position seat. Now, I do want to go over the fact that this is kind of a one-off set. This is not something that he's going to be offering to other people, and that's mainly due to the fact that depending on what seat you have and what seat bracket you're using and what mounting, the entire setup for this is going to be completely different. So the way that this kit is kind of based, or we go off of, we need someplace else to mount it. If we're not going to be mounting to the bottom of the seat, we kind of have to use the seat mounts. And the issue that we run into is that everybody's gonna have a different seat mount. Every seat is a slightly different width, and everybody's gonna be running different heights, and the seats are all slightly different shapes. So being able to be sure that the kit will fit for your seat option and selection without having the seat, in hand to be able to test and measure is pretty much impossible. But we were lucky enough that, we kind of worked together to make this kit. We did a lot of the measurements, and then I made a lot of the pieces myself in CAD, and we sent them off to be cut and made, and then we were able to, he got them all put together and we got it powder coated. So let's go ahead and show you what this kit looks like and how we're gonna throw it onto the seat. So here it is. This is the kit that we came up with. These are some custom brackets that we ended up making that's gonna perfectly fit to the seat, as well as the extinguisher holder. And we have all of the hardware necessary, as well as the extinguisher. So this is actually the exact same extinguisher that I was running on the bottom of my stock F80 seats. And as you guys can tell, it's paint matched. So this is painted to mineral white. I believe the paint code is A96, but it looked really, really good on the stock seats. I have the cage mounted fire extinguisher. That one is also painted to the same color, mineral white, by the same guy. So he sourced everything for us. We have a short brochure kind of going over some of the details. If any of you guys are interested, highly recommend looking up OEM Extinguishers. I have a coupon code actually. If you guys go to the link in my Instagram bio, I'll also put it down in the description below, but feel free to go there, check that out. You'll get a small discount if you use that as well. But here we have everything, and we're gonna be able to install this perfectly onto the Recaro seat, where it will sit right here and keep the fire extinguisher tucked away nicely, sort of like it did on the stock seats. So this bracket here is basically just a bracket that's gonna go in between either side, and it's gonna screw to both ends of the seat bracket, and then it has the mount to screw the extinguisher bracket in the front. So the way we designed this is that it's going to have a little bit of adjustability, and that's going to come from the slotted mounts that we have here on our seats. So we'll kind of be able to change where the fire extinguisher sits. It'll sit a little further forward, a little further back, a little higher, a little lower. We can change that by tweaking the angle. And we're also able to test fit that it does not interfere with this at all. It'll sit nicely up in front, and you'll just be able to reach around the extinguisher and still pull up to change the seat position with the slider. So I'm just gonna get this thrown up real quickly. I'll show you guys what it looks like. I'll kind of show you guys how it installs. It's a little tight right here, but like you'll see, these bolt holes are just gonna line up right down here. They will go on the inside, on either side, and then we will get the bracket thrown on to the front. All of these are all threaded, so all we need is a bolt. We do not need a nut on the other side, which makes the install a lot more simple. And then we'll just be able to throw the extinguisher in, and we can throw it back into the car. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is just go ahead and get this bracket, and we're gonna get it in place here underneath the seat. And we're just gonna kind of set it in a little resting position while we line up the corners here and start threading our bolts in. Okay, so now that we have the bracket in, I'm just gonna leave it a little bit loose so that we have a little bit of adjustment that we can make if we need to. But as you guys can see, we have this, we designed this little curve here so that it perfectly matches the bottom side of the seat, so that you have plenty of room to tuck this all the way up and underneath, without interfering with the bottom of the seat. So I think this works really well. And the black right here, the color we powder coated it is just kind of a satin black. Really kind of hides really well, so you don't really see it. So it's kind of gonna look invisible, as well as the mounting hardware that we have here is the exact same as what we have for the seat. So it all just blends together perfectly, very OEM-like solution. And I think it's, really gonna make a cool addition and a unique part that, nobody else will really have for this seat. So what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and install the bracket onto the front side of this. And then we'll go ahead and tighten this up once we determine where exactly we want the bracket to sit, depending on where we want the extinguisher to sit. So now you guys can see this is how we have the extinguisher bracket sitting. And what we're gonna do, if I can get this, so here you go. You have a really good idea of what it kind of looks like along the side of the extinguisher here. And we're pretty much all the way at the back position here. So what we're probably gonna do is pull this out a little bit. That'll give us a little bit more room. And then we're gonna tuck this all the way up, and you'll see basically how the extinguisher is gonna sit perfectly flush right in front of the seat, not in the way. We're gonna keep it probably a little bit lower, and we might actually pull it back a little bit just so that we kind of close up this gap and it's not in the way of anybody's legs or anything when they're sitting in the seat. Okay, so now that we have it exactly where we want it, we're just going to open the tabs right here, and we will slip the extinguisher back into its spot right here, just like this, and close it up, and boom, just like that, we have the extinguisher back in an OEM solution mounting spot on the Recaro pole position. Nice, kind of tucked out of the way, not going to be messing with your knees or anything. I know it kind of looks like it might be a little bit in the way, but when you sit in your seats, your knees kind of tuck a little bit off the edge of the seat and then go down over it. So we have test sat in the seats before, and it's really not an issue sitting where it's sitting, but you can always adjust it. That's kind of why it's designed how it is. But you can see how it's sitting right here, nice and tucked away. Everything looks super clean, super good. So I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get this thrown back in the car, and I'll show you guys what it looks like once it's all set and installed. Well, there you have it, guys. The seat's all installed again, and you can see the extinguisher sitting down here. I think it looks super good along with the houndstooth. I feel like it kind of, the carpets are mostly black and gray now, but they kind of give that white vibe along with everything, as well as the white cage with the paint matched fire extinguisher as well on the roll cage. So this is actually a kit. I've mentioned this before, but this is a kit that you can get from OEM Extinguishers. They sell it just like that. Just need to go hit the link in the bio on Instagram, or I'll provide a link down below as well that you guys can go get that kit. But this came out super, super well. So you can see the mount right here, super well, super hidden. I mean, you basically don't even notice it's there. Like I mentioned, the seat slider still works. So it's a little hard from the side because you don't really have a good leverage on it, but it still goes up just like no problem. And it does not come into contact with the bottom of the extinguisher, as well as, let me go ahead and sit in the seat real quick. So the seat kind of sits, exactly where my fiance sits. So doesn't really move from here. But as you guys can see, it sits right underneath here, and doesn't really come into contact with your legs at all. So perfectly hidden underneath here. Nice little extra added safety. Plus it looks really, really cool. I don't actually have passengers in this car all too often. Usually just, a handful of times on the weekends. But I think this is a pretty cool option. Pretty cool little detail that we've added to the car. And I'm super happy with how well it came out. So here you guys go. You can kind of get a better vision of what the extinguisher looks like paired with the seats, as well as being paired with the cage. I think overall it just kind of gives a cool vibe, added, kind of a little race car, but also real OEM safety, being that that's an OEM extinguisher with an actual BMW part number on it, as well as an OEM, the little mounting case that holds the extinguisher is an OEM part. But overall, I think it came out really well. I think it kind of, just adds that little extra detail that I kind of like adding to cars, and kind of makes it stand out. Something that, people are going to see and not really know or notice at first what it is, but if you know, it's a custom mount. So pretty cool, super excited. Well, hope you guys enjoyed. That was a pretty simple little install, but kind of took, a few weeks of back-end work on the CAD work, The measuring, having the seat out 3 to 4 times just to measure, double measure, triple measure, you know, make sure everything's gonna fit well, kind of figure out where we wanted the extinguisher, how it was gonna sit. Then like I mentioned, all the CAD work, it took, you know, a week, send it off, get it made, come back, assemble it, test fit again, send it off to paint, and here we are today. So shout out to OEM Extinguishers. Wouldn't be possible without them. So go ahead and check them out. Like I said, I'm gonna post a link down in the description below. If you use that link, you will get a small discount on your order. Highly recommend them. Go check them out for any of your F8X, G8X, E9X, any of your BMWs, Porsches. They offer all of the paint matched options. Any color that you want, they can match it. If you want to match it to your wheels, match it to your calipers, you name it.